Hello guys and welcome back. If this is your first time tuning in, I'd like to welcome you. And for my return viewers, as always, welcome back. For those of you that do not know, my name is Tony and this is Mythical Minds. So today I'm actually going to be covering something that I've been working on. Many of you may not know this. Actually, I haven't ever mentioned it, so none of you know this, but I am restoring a vintage car. I'm restoring a 1972 BMW 2002. Now many of you may be wondering, 72, 2002? Well, that's actually the model of the vehicle. So where you have a Chevy Malibu or a Jeep Cherokee or Jeep Wrangler or what have you, it is a 1972 BMW 2002. Which actually makes trying to find parts for it increasingly difficult because every time you type in BMW 2002, it thinks you're referring to the year. So finding parts can be fun, but there are a ton of online forums and different little doodads you can get yourself into that will actually get you what you need. Nonetheless, my little bit of backstory, I won't be too long and involved because I'm trying to keep my videos a little bit shorter. My family used to restore cars. Let's just go there. We used to rebuild them from the ground up. We used to restore. It was a bit of a business venture for us for a while, but it got really expensive and the market kind of dropped out. A lot of people wanted them finished, and then it turned into, well, just get it prepped for paint, to just strip the inside, to just do the bodywork. I mean, nobody really wanted to pay for the amount of work that went into it, and generally you start losing money because for every dollar you put in, you get about 50 cents back unless you start talking about showroom finish. But then once you get there, nobody really wants to fork out the cash, and a lot of the customers want to get too involved with the processes and they think they can find something cheaper, and it's madness. So unfortunately, we got out of it when I was quite a bit younger. Now, for those of you that may not know, I have mentioned in one of my previous videos, I'm the baby of the family. I am the last child. I'm baby number 8. So I was actually the last to get my vintage car. And I worked very hard to get this car, and it was supposed to be something that me, my brothers, my dad, and everybody were supposed to work on together. Just something as a family. Well, for those of you that may not know, and I have also mentioned this in a previous video, my dad passed away in November of 2013. And unfortunately, I only got to work on my car with him one day before he passed away. So, it unfortunately had to take a back seat while the family was put back together. Because honestly, it was completely unexpected. So, nonetheless, I want to keep a much more lighthearted video, and I'm already ranging on about 3 minutes here, so I'm going to try to speed things up. So, when I first got in my car, and I'll actually put a few pictures in here. As you can see, it looked really neat, really clean. The interior, unfortunately, I don't have too many pictures of, but I will be working on that a little bit later, probably in another video. It looked very clean, very neat, and didn't look like there was any issues. Now, I wanted to paint the car, but within doing so, you've got to strip it down, and you get to see, when you do that, you actually start uncovering some issues. Now, I knew there were some issues, but a lot of it we didn't see until we were able to actually strip it down to bare metal. Once we did that, we actually did notice that there was quite a few rust issues. I mean, not terrible, nothing that we couldn't handle, but a little bit more than we originally expected. So the typical places that always have rust are the wheel wells, the shock towers, behind the front wheel on the fender, the back fenders, the spare tire carrier. I mean, all the typical areas where rust can accumulate. And this actually had rust in only one or two of the common places. Everything else was very clean. Metal was in great condition. So we actually didn't have that much work, thankfully. I actually wanted to modify the engine a little bit. I wanted to rebuild the top end because I know the bottom end was in really good condition. So I actually pulled everything apart with my brother, which you will see here along with some of the cars after it was stripped. And after we had pulled everything apart, we sent the head out to be custom ported, custom ported and port matched to the manifold and to the exhaust manifold and to the carburetor and carburetor spacer and all the other nonsense that goes with it. And while that was being done, we also sent out the cam and had that ground down, and now I have a custom cam to go with all my porting. So I'm actually really excited. Once that was taken care of, we did address some of the rust issues, and I did find some fenders at an absolute steal. They're actually brand new from the factory, and they normally retail for about $400 a piece. I ended up getting two that were actually specifically meant for my ear. I ended up getting two for $200. So the gentleman was going to ship them. I told him, don't worry, you're close enough to me. I will come and pick them up tomorrow if you're available. And because of that, he actually held them for me because he didn't have to worry about shipping, and I was the only buyer that was interested in coming to get them personally. So he held them for me, and I had them within the next couple of days, and I was absolutely thrilled. They were in perfect condition, and they were still wrapped in plastic, and they went on with no effort at all. So after we got those installed, which there will be a few pictures here, we addressed some rust issues on the front of the vehicle, which you'll see some more pictures here. And that would be me. And you'll see another gentleman who's welding. That would be my oldest brother. So we actually fixed all those issues, and the bodywork continued, which you'll see a few pictures along the way here, and I will probably continue to talk through them, so that way the video is a little bit shorter than they have been in the past. Now, we got everything back, we welded up all the problem areas, we ground them down, we primed, we painted, and the car is about 1 week shy of going in for the paint job. Now, I am trying to stick to as original as possible, but the original color I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of. So I'm going with another BMW color that is rather similar. It's a little bit darker, and it has a slight metallic to it. I think it gives the paint color a little bit more life, and it keeps it from getting dull. And it's just my personal preference. And I did want to make it my own, since I'm actually stripping this car down to completely, literally bare metal, and actually rebuilding it from the ground up. I really wanted to do something that fit my personality and fit my personal tastes, and this is the color that I wanted. So many of you may disagree, but it was my choice. Now, where I'm actually doing a few last minute details, and I have all my parts ready and waiting to be put on the car. New trim, new seals, everything. And whatever I could keep original, I did, because I do want the car to have some character. I do not want it to be off the showroom quality. That's not my style. I do want to drive my vehicle. I don't want to be afraid to drive it because it looks too good, and I do not want a trailer queen. So, I'm working on a few last minute details. I have all my parts ready to go, and actually within the following week, like I said, it will be ready for paint. And I actually, after we got it running, I was able to move it in the driveway, which I have not been able to do. That's the first time the car has been running in about 8 months, and literally I didn't even get my foot off the clutch, and it burned rubber in my driveway. So I know this thing is going to have some excellent power, and I honestly can't wait to get it on the road. So once I actually get the car back from the paint shop and I get some of the things on, I'm going to be documenting that in another video, and I will also take you guys along for my first test drive, which I cannot wait for. So I'm already at about 9 minutes. This is a little bit longer than I wanted the video to be, but I have quite a bit of editing to do to put in all the pictures for you guys. So I want to thank you all for tuning in, and have a fantastic day. And if you like what you see, please be sure to comment, like, and or subscribe. Thanks, guys.